So Jonathan Majors was found guilty.
Yep.
And he was fired from Marvel Studios and out of the MCU.
With good reason.
Jonathan Majors has officially been found guilty on the third-degree assault and harassment and will be sentenced in February, on February 9th. So that's the news about it. I kind of wanted to make a broader discussion just about, this whole situation is just, it's sad. It's sad that this had to happen to someone, and it's sad that he had to, it's sad that he did that to someone.
Well, it's they
and
talk
he thinks
about
that's okay. That's just fucked up.
Well, they talk about the people who are most creative and whatnot are really damaged inside, and most people, I think most scientists, doctors can agree that people who hurt other people as adults were hurt probably as children at some point. And it's trauma acting itself out. I'm not excusing Jonathan Majors at all. He's an adult, and regardless of whatever trauma you suffered, I suffered trauma when I was a kid, but, I don't abuse anybody, so, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
The point is that we knew you can't treat people like that and expect to get away with it no matter how big of a star you are.
And yeah.
And the fact that you think you can get away with it is just heinous because you're treating somebody else like that.
And then to just engage in textbook abusive behavior and
gaslighting. Fucking,
and it's fucked up.
Isolation.
And I get what you're saying. There's a nuanced conversation to have about that. While you can understand and agree that what he did was wrong and fucked up.
Yes.
You can also say that a lot of this stuff comes from trauma, and it comes from and
then there's people who are just straight up sociopaths.
Or maybe he just is that way. I don't know.
There are people who are straight up sociopaths.
And it's very possible. Very possible he is. And I just
his performances certainly. We talked about this off the air a little bit. His performances certainly lend themselves. How much does the art imitate the life, or vice versa? Is he such an intense and good actor? Or was he?
Yeah, he has no career after this because, at least
for
a few years.
You know what?
At least for
I'll
a few
bet you
years.
anything. Fox Nation will have some movies where they're like, "We need a black guy."
Hey, it might be fine because look at what happened with Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson said all those horrible, shitty things, did all those things.
Yeah, and then Will Ferrell made a movie with him. Nice job, Will. You shithead.
We let him back in. So
I didn't fucking let him back in. Will and Mock tried to let him back in, and I said, hell no, get that asshole off my porch.
Sorry, you're right. I did not see that movie in theaters.
I didn't either.
So therefore, you're right. I didn't support it in theater. I just saw it on streaming.
I thought it was cool that Jodie Foster was like, hey, he's my friend, and she made that movie The Beaver. I never saw it. Look, man, when you follow up some really anti-Semitic shit with a movie about which is basically torture porn Jesus style, the last or whatever.
Yeah.
You're not making any friends in Hollywood, and I'm sorry, or anywhere, really.
Getting busted with a DUI and saying some racist shit.
That's what I said. He started with that, and then the next project I think he did was like the Passion of the Christ, I think. His direct, and it was like...
Yeah.
Could you be any more like Nazi?
Well, here's the thing. His dad is a Holocaust denier, and he's a very anti-Semitic, bigoted piece of shit.
No, I don't believe you.
Really? You're shocked?
So, Mel, I just got to ask you, at what point...
Look.
Did you stop?
And you and I have talked about this. I also think there's a thing to be said that what he did is wrong.
Yes.
And I hope that the people that were wronged by him, if it gets worse and more things come out where he was sexually assaulting people or sexually then it's
that does happen sometimes.
That's even
he showed a pattern based on
this says he has
the result of the case. He showed a pattern of abuse.
Yes.
This wasn't a one-time thing that he's like, oops, I had a momentary lapse of reason. You had a systematic...
My point was, if it gets to those levels, it's a point for me where, I think there will be no chance of redemption at all in the public light. Now, maybe personally he could try and make him, but there's really no coming back from the things.
You
that
kind
he
of
did.
walked over the joke a little bit earlier, but it's not really a joke. You know how excited like those conservative asshole filmmakers are going to be?
Oh
excited?
yeah, dude. Daily
When he
Wire
gets
will
out of-
hire him right away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, hey, will you be in our anti
Yeah.
our next project is a movie that's anti-black.
Yeah. But it circles.
Way to go, Daily Wire.
For me, it
jerks.
circles back to it's horrible. It's horrible that
Yes.
that woman had to suffer that, or those women, the
Yes.
other women that have accused him. It's fucking horrible they had to go through that.
We do want to make sure that we're cognizant
and I want to be,
of
and
the
I
fact
want to
that
be as
people
transparent as possible.
were hurt.
We are not in any way dismissing what he did.
No.
Like we said, he's an adult. He made his own decisions. He made his own actions, and like I'm just saying how Hollywood is and how it can be. Like, there's a possibility there could be like we just said with Mel Gibson, that whole thing. There's a possibility he could come back. Only way it gets worse is if there's even worse things that he's done, and rightfully so. He won't get work because it's just, again, you can't treat people this way and think it's okay. And I think too long, a lot of people have felt you get to as a man, you get to a certain status and you feel like you can, they kind of get into their own
guess.
ego. I don't know, did you hear the audio of the shit that he was saying?
No, but I do want to make
was
sure
fucked up.
that we understand something too about cancel culture. Chris Brown is fucking still working. Okay? And he beat the shit out of like Rihanna.
Yeah.
Like beat the shit out of her.
Yeah.
And I think mostly why he got a pass was because she like came out and said like I forgive him or something. Which okay, I'm not gonna tell her what to do. You know what I mean?
I don't think that.
You know what I mean? I don't. That's not my business. But I think that's why he got it. He's still working. He still fucking gets work, dude.
I want to talk on a broader scale.
But there's some people who are like, I want to make my career, and the only way I can is by working with this person. And regardless of what they've done in the past, right? It's got to be what it is.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm saying with all this too, in like a grander scale of like what I find, kind of humorous about this, when it kind of tells you where we are as a society and how capitalism is, where like I'm laughing because of how fast and correctly Disney said, okay, that's the verdict. He's guilty. He's done. He's fired.
Yep. And
how easily they did it compared to the chicken shit fuckers over at Warner Brothers, who, we'll get to them again later, who...
Can't wait.
I fucking trashed Warner Brothers. That's like...
Well, fuck them. Fuck Warner Brothers.
Anyway, my point is, it takes a lot for Disney to have the moral high ground over you because they hinged a whole fucking phase, a whole thing on him, and they've had to course correct because of this. And it's already been in the works, but now it's officially like showing you.
Luckily,
like,
the story lends itself to a recasting,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Or you could go off the thing where like Loki stopped all of it and you just move on.
Sure.
Like,
Shit.
But was the Flash in hindsight really fucking worth it, you dumbasses? No. Was it?
No.
Because you saved what, $90 million on Batgirl when you could have just easily put it on your fucking streaming service. You botched that. You do all this fucking moral grandstand, like moral gymnastics to keep Ezra Miller in the whole thing to release the Flash. But then you look at Marvel, who had a handful of movies coming up that related to Kang, at least like 3 or 4 that deal with him, especially an Avengers movie that deals with him, and they're going to have to do that all over. But yeah, luckily it's a multiverse character, it's easy to recast. But it's like, it just, again, multiple movies that they had planned and were ready to go, like they're working on to get going, and they changed it and dropped it because of this, and you guys still stood by fucking Ezra Miller. Let them walk the red carpet. And face almost no consequence.
Let me put it to you like this: I'm a musician, and I really have nobody really knows anything about me. If Chris Brown called me and said, "Hey, I want to be on one of your songs," that would make me. That would put me on the map. It would, at least curiously, like who the fuck is this T-Bird? You know what I mean? So that would put me on the map with some people. But then, like, forever I'd be, I mean, you know, I
you
don't
wouldn't
think I
wanna be
could do
tied to
that,
that
though.
guy.
I don't
I
think I
wouldn't.
could do that.
No.
Even if it put me on the map, which, yes, I want to be on the map, but not at that price.
No, you gotta. Yeah, and that says a lot about.
But there's a lot of people who would say, okay.
So, what do you think's gonna happen with how we're gonna do it? You think they're
I
gonna
think
stay
they're-
with Kang?
I think
'Cause
they're going to stay the course and just recast it.
I think they're getting. I think.
Or
they're-
they've been reworking the story behind the scenes. Why wouldn't you keep going with all the Kang stuff you prepared and just recast the role?
Yeah, I guess you could just do that. Yeah.
That's the easiest to me.
Yeah, but yeah, because I don't necessarily buy into the idea of the rumor that like they're going to have the whole Doom thing. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think
No.
they're probably just gonna recast. But it is funny, like the weird rumor that came out, and there's nothing's been confirmed by Marvel about Ryan Gosling being a part of the MCU in an
What would he play?
unspecified role.
Oh,
People like thought the joke was that he was going to be Kang, and it'd be like, I'm like, really, guys? The people who were like, Ryan Gosling should be Black Panther or whatever. You know the crowd, but I've also seen a lot of funny stuff about that. Of like, again, you could just not do it. Like that's what I keep thinking. The more that we do this Kang stuff, the more I don't really care. I'm like, it was cool when I was into it, but like with the stuff with Majors, it just kind of puts a sour taste in my mouth because
Kang has never been a really huge character in the comics.
Yeah.
He is a decidedly C. Despite the fact that he is one of the big bads in the Marvel universe in Marvel Comics, he really is a B or C list villain. He rarely comes around
compared to like Magneto and Doom. And
well, yeah, they're more present and they're more. I don't know. I mean, Kang, yeah, he's put them through their paces, but just maybe it was the stuff that I read growing up or whatever. But and I did read Avengers, and he just wasn't that big of a deal. Now I started reading comics again about 3 or 4 months ago, and then I stopped after like a couple weeks. But while I was in the comic store a couple weeks in a row, there's a lot of Kang stuff coming up in the comics right now, and presumably to kind of fishtail with the movies and where the
we talked
MCU's
about
going.
that on the show,
But
how they complement each other.
Yeah, I don't really care about Kang, and if you really want to make Kang cool to me, recast the role and do something with him in the movies.
And yeah, I'm all for them recasting and staying the course. But I truly think that Loki set it up to allow you to make that change. But
if Kang is is as powerful as he is in the comics, then he should always win, and he always gets defeated. So fuck off. I don't care about that character.
I would be okay with it if we got to see Thor and Loki reunite.
Yeah, sure.
That's what
I'm sure we'll see that.
I feel like you have to keep doing Kang. If you're going to do the Secret Wars shit, I feel like you have to keep that going with Kang and Kang Dynasty.
You really kind of have to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to recast, and everybody who sees the new Kang will know why, and they'll be fine with it.
Yeah. I feel like I'll see it.
Anybody who's not fine with it has also got a problem with Miles Morales, so fuck them anyway.
Ooh, doggy.
Well, right?
I mean, yeah.
He shouldn't be canceled. Shut up. Yes, he should.
If you defend anything that he did, that fuck you. I'm sorry.
Where's Neurotic at? I mean, where are those fuck faces? I can't. I can't believe that they're not out there going like, hey, he should have been canned.
You should have been canned.
Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.